Hi, my name is Rebecca, and in today's lesson, I'm going to show you how you can improve your English vocabulary by reading and watching the news. All right? Many students write in and ask us at engVid, how can I improve my English? Well, of course, the answer to that is very long, and we probably don't have time to go into all of those. But in this lesson, I'm going to focus on how you can do that through items in the news. You can go online and read about news events. You can watch TV and listen to people talking about the news, discussing news events, reporting the news, right? And you can also read the newspaper, for example, or magazines that discuss various news events. And in fact, when you read about the news or listen to the news, it's a wonderful opportunity for you to expand your vocabulary. Why is that? Because when they're discussing something in the news, very often it is repeated several times. So you have the opportunity to have many chances to hear that vocabulary, to hear it being used, to see what it means, and to understand it, and perhaps even to make that vocabulary part of your own vocabulary. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read you a paragraph. All right? This was taken from a certain news event that happened shortly before we recorded this video. And this time, I'm just going to read it to you. And what I'd like you to do is to try to understand as much as you can from this one short paragraph. Okay? 22 people were killed and dozens injured when two trains collided in central India on September 20th. Okay? Now perhaps you've understood all of it, perhaps some of it. Next, I'm going to give you another opportunity to understand a little more. Okay, so now I'm going to read it again, read the same paragraph again, but this time, as you listen, I want you to listen for the answers to these questions. Who am I talking about? What happened? Where did it happen? And when did it happen? So now when you listen, I want you to listen more specifically, okay? 22 people were killed and dozens injured when two trains collided in central India on September 20th. Okay? You might want to jot that down. Just write down the answers if you like on a piece of paper if you have it there. And next, we'll have another opportunity to look at this. Okay, so now I'm going to give you another opportunity to understand that paragraph. This time, you're not only going to hear it, but you're also going to see it, just as you would if you were reading about it. All right? So let's read it together. 22 people were killed and dozens injured when two trains collided in central India on September 20th. Okay? Now you have two reference points, the sound of my voice as well as the information coming to your eyes, what you can see. So see if you can find this information. Who was involved in the incident? 22 people and dozens. Okay? What happened? Two trains collided. When did it happen? On September 20th. Where did it happen? In central India, right? The how, we don't know yet, all right? These questions, by the way, are what are known as the journalist's question. A journalist, when he or she writes something, a news story, always answers the questions, or is supposed to answer the questions, usually in the first paragraph: who, what, when, where, why, and how. And sometimes how much, how many. In this little sentence and paragraph, we didn't have the information about how, but we do know what happened, who was involved, where it happened, and when it happened. So when you read the news, look for this information, not only will you have answers, but you'll also be able to ask questions. So for example, suppose you missed half the story and you walked into the room and they were talking about a story. So you want to ask whoever was in the room about the story. So what kinds of questions could you ask, right? Who was involved? What happened? Where did it happen? When did it happen? Similarly, from the news events that you're reading, you can also learn and practice how to ask questions. Not just how to answer questions, but also how to ask questions. This is also very helpful for you if you're trying to practice your reading comprehension skills. Let's just look at this one sentence and see how many different types of questions we could ask about this information. Okay? So I could ask, for example, how many people were killed? What's the answer? 22 people. How many people were injured? Dozens. Dozens of people were injured. How many trains were involved in the accident? 2 trains. What happened to the 2 trains? They collided. Where did the accident happen? In central India. In which part of India did the accident happen? In central India. In which month did the accident happen? In September. On what date did the accident happen? On the 20th. Okay? There are so many other kinds of questions that you could practice asking by reading a simple piece of news. Okay? So use the news, whether it's on TV, on the internet, in the newspaper, in magazines. Use news events to expand your vocabulary, to learn how to get information out of it and how to ask the right questions when you're in a certain situation. Okay? If you'd like more practice on this or other lessons in English, please visit our website www.engvid.com. Thanks for watching.